A very smart father and son duo created this baseball scoreboard preset after watching my pickleball scoreboard tutorial. While turning their project into a macro, they ran into a problem and asked if I could help. So I decided to create a complete step-by-step tutorial showing exactly how to build this beautiful baseball scoreboard preset from scratch. As always, I will drop a Fusion composition onto the edit page timeline and open it in Fusion. Grab a background node and connect it to media out. For now, choose any background color that helps you see and style the scoreboard more easily. Later, before saving the preset, we will make the background transparent. Now you can build this entire scoreboard using simple Fusion shapes, but you can also use a PNG design like this one as part of the background. In this tutorial, I will use a combination of both. One thing to keep in mind: if you decide to use PNG graphics in your design, those PNG graphics can stretch or distort when the scoreboard is used in a project with a different resolution. So if you normally edit in 4K, build the scoreboard in a 4K Fusion comp. If you edit in 1080p, then create it in a 1080p comp. And there is one more very important warning. Don't drag the PNG directly from the media pool into Fusion. That can cause problems later when you turn everything into a macro. Instead, add a loader node and load the PNG through that. Then merge it into the flow. Now add a rectangle mask and connect it to blue input of the loader. Adjust width and height of the mask until it's roughly the size of the scoreboard. You can move the mask around and choose whichever part of the PNG looks best, or maybe a section that's a little less busy. The PNG background is grabbing a bit too much attention, so I'll add a brightness contrast node after the loader. Now tweak the gain, gamma, and lift until it looks good. This part is completely a design choice, so feel free to adjust it however you like. Next, copy this entire node setup and paste it here. Hold shift while dropping it in so it automatically merges into the node tree. Delete the brightness contrast node this time and move the bar over here so you can see it clearly. For this one, I will use a different section of the PNG. Add a color curves node after the loader and give it a different tint, maybe something red like this. Then position this smaller bar right here. Now duplicate this entire red bar setup and merge it into the flow. Position it right below the first bar, reset the color curves node, and give it a slightly different tint. Next, load the away team logo. Add a transform node after the loader and merge the logo into the node tree. Resize it with the transform node and position it right here. Now load the home team logo and merge it into the flow as well. To save a little time, I'll copy the transform node we already added, right-click the connection line of the second logo and paste it here. Then position the logo over here and make any size adjustment if needed. Next, I will add a text node for the score and rename it away score. Type 0, choose a bold font, resize it, and place it in front of the away team logo. Duplicate that text node, rename it home score, and place it in front of the home team logo. Next, we will add a text node for the inning counter. Rename it inning counter. For this one, I will use Tahoma and position it here. And keep it a little smaller than the score numbers. Now we will create these stars that show which team is currently batting. You could use triangles or even 6-point stars, but I will use this bulky 4-point star because I think it looks pretty cool. But for a very important reason, I won't use it as a PNG. A PNG is quite limited. Instead, we will draw a native Fusion shape so we have a much control over it later. Add a B-spline and a background node, connect them together, and merge them into the flow. Rename the B-spline to away batting. Now select the B-spline and trace over the PNG star. Let's see if I can recreate this little chunky star. Once it's done, delete the PNG star. I'll give it a slightly off-white color. Adjust its size from the B-spline controls and position it above the inning number. Then increase the border width just a little. That way, when the team isn't batting, the star can appear as an outline. And when they are batting, it can become fully solid. Now, duplicate this star setup, merge it into the flow, rename it home batting, and position it in front of the home team. You can shrink inspector to give yourself some extra workspace. Next, we will create these diamond shapes that show which bases are occupied. Add a rectangle and a background node, connect them together, and merge them into the node tree. Adjust the width and height to create a small shape, and then set the angle to 45 degrees and position it right here. I'll rename this one base 3. Next, duplicate this diamond setup and merge it into the flow. Rename it base 1 and position it over here. Duplicate it one more time, rename it base 2 and place it right here. Increase the border width just a little. Next, we will create these 3 circles that represent outs. Add an ellipse and a background node, connect them together, and merge them into the flow. I'll rename this one out 1. Red fits nicely with our color scheme, so I'll use that color. Resize the circle using on-screen controls and place it right here. Increase the border width slightly. Now duplicate this setup, merge it into the flow, rename it out 2 and position it here. Duplicate it one more time, rename it out 3 and place it right here. Take a moment to make sure the spacing between all 3 circles is consistent. Now let's create the top banner. This could be your channel name, your broadcast name, or whatever title you want to display. Add another rectangle and a background node, connect them together, merge them into the node tree. Adjust width and height to create a nice sleek bar. Try to make it exactly the same width as the main scoreboard bar. You can even copy and paste the values. Since we are going for a more polished scoreboard design, I'll add a subtle gradient, black on left and gray on the right. Keep the gradient linear and adjust it however you like. Next, add a text node, merge it into the flow, rename it broadcast title, and type your broadcast title. Choose a font. I will lower the brightness slightly and position it in the center of the banner. Now duplicate this title bar setup and merge it into the flow, reduce width a little and position it right here. You'll notice that moving bar also shifts the gradient, but that's fine because I'll be using a different gradient anyway. This time I'll go with the red on left and black on the right. And just like before, adjust the gradient until it looks the way you want. Next, add a text node, rename it to picture name, type the picture's name, choose a clean font, adjust the size, set H anchor to left, and position it on the red bar. Now duplicate this text node, rename it to page count, and type any value for now. For this one, set H anchor to right and position it over here. Next, I will duplicate the entire red bar setup and merge it into the flow. Position it here and make sure it lines up nicely with the rest of the scoreboard. For this bar, I will use a different gradient, maybe white on left and black on right. Then adjust the gradient however you like. Next, duplicate the picture name text node, rename it batter name, type the batter's name, place it right here. Now duplicate the pitch count node, rename it batter average, and type any number. Position it over here, and finally add one more text node. I'll rename it BS counter. Type 0-0. This should represent the ball strike count. Choose a nice font, resize it, and place it either here. And with that, the design layout for our scoreboard is complete, and honestly, it looks pretty good. One small thing though, you can see a tiny piece of the main black bar showing at the bottom. You can actually leave it there as a border. It doesn't look bad at all. But if you would rather hide it, you could resize the main bar or adjust these bottom bars. A much easier fix is to add a rectangle mask. Resize it slightly and place it right here. Connect it to the blue input of the main bar's merge node and then check invert. Before we move on, I'll also rename these 2 loader nodes so we don't run into any confusion later. Now before saving this as a macro, there's one very important thing that we need to fix. In fact, it's the exact same issue our father and son duo ran into. Take a look at this. Let's say you are using the scoreboard preset and you want to show that a player reached first base. So at frame 100, you check the solid option. The diamond changes from an outline to a solid shape, which is exactly what we want. But here's the problem. If you play the timeline back, you'll notice the diamond becomes solid before frame 100. And you will run into the same issue with the stars and out indicators. So we need to modify the solid control so it behaves properly. First, I will remove the test keyframes I just added. I will start with the first batting star. Right-click the node name, choose Edit Controls, select the solid control, and make these small changes. After you apply the changes, you will notice the button jumps to the bottom of the inspector. That's completely fine. Now I will do the same thing for the second star. Then I'll repeat the process for all 3 base indicators. And finally, the 3 out circles. Since we are planning to expose these controls in the macro, we want them to behave exactly the way we need. Let's quickly test it. I'll keyframe the solid button at frame 0, then at frame 100, I'll enable solid. Now let's play it back. The shape changes exactly on frame 100, right where we activated the button. Now we are finally ready to save this as a macro preset. First, select the very first background node and set both RGB and alpha values to 0 so the scoreboard has a transparent background. Hold Command or Control key. I'll start selecting the nodes in this order: away score, home score, inning counter, away batting, home batting. After that, maybe the BS counter, then the base indicators, then the outs, then broadcast title, pitcher name, pitch count, batter name, and batter average. And finally, the away logo with its transform node and the home logo with its transform node. Hopefully, I didn't forget anything. While still holding Command or Control key, select all the remaining nodes except media out. Now, you don't have to use this exact selection order. This is completely a design choice. The reason I am mentioning it because the controls inside the final macro inspector will appear in the same order you select the nodes here. Now right-click any selected node, go to macro and choose create macro. First give the macro a name. Inside the macro editor, you will see all the nodes and controls we selected. For away score, expose the text control. Do the same for the home score. Whenever you expose a control in a node, that node name turns red. For the inning counter, expose the same style text control. For away batting, expose a solid control and rename it something like away batting. Do the same for the home batting. These are our batting indicators. For the ball strike counter, expose the style text control. For base 1, expose the solid control and rename it base 1. Repeat the same process for base 2 and base 3. Next comes out 1. Again, expose the solid control and rename it. Then do exactly the same for out 2 and out 3. For broadcast title, expose the style text control. Do the same for pitcher name, pitch count, batter name, and batter average. To make the away team logo replaceable, expose the file name control and rename it. Then expose the center and size control from its transform node so you can resize and reposition the logo later if needed. Now repeat the exact same process for the home team logo and its transform node and make sure everything is named properly. Hopefully I didn't miss anything important. One final thing you should always check before saving a macro is that the output of the last merge node is checked. Fusion automatically handles this for us. Once you are sure everything looks good, save the macro into the titles folder. Now let's test it. Go back to the edit page and search for it in the effects panel. If you don't see it right away, simply restart Resolve. And there it is. Everything is working. The macro inspector should contain all the controls that you will need to quickly edit your baseball videos. And here is a useful tip if you don't already know this. Every title macro has two main tabs, title and settings. The title tab contains all the custom controls we expose while creating the macro. The settings tab is different. It's built into every title macro by default. You will find a lot of controls, but the most useful ones are position and zoom. They make it very easy to move and resize the entire design. Now let's quickly see how this macro is actually used. Drop it above your sports footage and stretch it across the entire length of the video. Make sure all values are in their default state. Then swap the logos for both teams. With the playhead at the beginning of the timeline, keyframe all of these controls. That's the only keyframing you will do during the entire edit. Just don't keyframe the logo controls. Now move to the point where something changes. Maybe the ball strike count updates, or maybe a player reaches first base. Just enable base 1. The out indicators work exactly the same way. As you can see, it's a very simple workflow. You will just keep scrubbing through your game footage and update the information as the match progresses. Before we wrap up, a quick note. I'm currently working on a premium version of this Baseball Scoreboard, but I still wanted to show the full process for anyone who wants to build one for themselves. And finally, if you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to leave a like on the video.